All right, so let's dive into something kind of fascinating. Ever think about what it takes to get the clothes on our backs?
It's a whole global operation,
It
really.
is, and someone's got to manage it all, right?
Exactly. That's where import-export managers come in, especially in the textile world.
They're the ones making sure those stylish threads from around the world actually make it to our closets.
Think of them as the conductors of this massive, intricate orchestra of fabrics and fashion. They're the ones ensuring a smooth flow from, say, cotton fields in Egypt to a boutique in Paris.
Okay, I like that analogy. So we're talking about today's deep dive, which is into the world of import-export managers in the textile industry. And we're using the RoleCatcher career guide and platform overview as our kind of our roadmap, right?
Absolutely. It's a really comprehensive resource for anyone looking to break into this field.
Okay, so let's get into it. First things first, what does an import-export manager actually do? It's got to be more than just shipping boxes, right?
Oh, way more. It's a dynamic role that requires a unique blend of um, business savvy, cultural awareness, and a knack for problem solving. You're essentially the bridge between textile producers, suppliers, and buyers across continents.
So what, like negotiating deals, navigating international regulations, that sort of thing?
Exactly. And don't forget about things like customs clearance, logistics, quality control. It's a lot to juggle.
Sounds like you need some serious organizational skills for this gig.
For sure. And the Role Catcher Guide actually highlights monitoring, critical thinking, and active listening as some of the top skills for import-export managers, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Yeah, because if a shipment's delayed due to, I don't know, a volcano erupting in Guatemala or something,
Yeah.
you need to be able to think on your feet and find a solution, right?
Exactly. You've got to be adaptable, resourceful, and able to make those tough decisions under pressure.
And what about the active listening part? What's that all about?
Well, you're dealing with people from all over the world, each with their own communication styles and cultural nuances. Being able to truly listen and understand their needs is crucial for building strong, lasting relationships.
It's like you're not just managing shipments, you're managing relationships across borders and cultures.
Precisely. And those relationships are gold in the import-export world.
Makes sense. Now, I'm curious, the guide also mentioned something about over 70% of the role involving admin and management skills. What's that all about? I thought this was about textiles, not spreadsheets.
Well, it's a combination of both, really. Yes, you need a passion for the textile industry, but you're also running a business, right? That means managing contracts, analyzing logistics, optimizing those complex supply chains. It's a lot of strategic thinking and number crunching.
So it's not just about knowing your silks from your satins, it's about knowing how to manage a global operation too.
Exactly. You've got to be comfortable in both worlds, creative and analytical.
Okay, so we've established that this job is like seriously demanding. But all that said, what about actually being out there in the field, like traveling to meet with these international contacts? Is that part of the deal?
Absolutely. In fact, the guide specifically mentions international travel as a key aspect of the role. It's your chance to build those face-to-face connections, experience different cultures firsthand, and really get a feel for the global textile landscape.
Okay, so not just a desk job then.
Definitely not. It's a global role that often requires a global perspective.
I can see the appeal in that for sure. But let's be real, there got to be some downsides, right? What does RoleCatcher say about the not so glamorous parts of this job?
Well, as you might imagine, it's a highly competitive field. The textile industry is booming and everyone wants a piece of the action. Plus, you're constantly under pressure to stay ahead of the curve, new trends, new technologies, shifting trade regulations. It's not for the faint of heart.
So you need that drive to learn and adapt constantly.
Exactly. It's all about embracing the challenges and constantly seeking out new knowledge and experiences.
And that pretty much sums up the import-export manager role, at least according to our trusty guide here.
It's a fantastic starting point for anyone intrigued by this fast-paced, globally connected career path.
For sure. But how do you actually become one of these global textile gurus? Okay, so you're ready to conquer the global textile trade, but where do you even begin? Like, is there a degree in international fabric wizardry or something?
Well, not exactly, but RoleCatcher does highlight some academic paths that can give you a serious leg up in this field.
Okay, so like what? Fashion design, business school. What are we talking about here?
Those are definitely relevant in their own right. But when it comes to the import-export side, think more along the lines of international business or supply chain management.
Okay, those make sense. So international business, that's got to be all about like global markets, trade agreements, that sort of thing, right?
You got it. It gives you that solid foundation in well, the ins and outs of global commerce. Plus, you'll pick up valuable skills in cross-cultural communication, which is key when you're dealing with suppliers and buyers from all corners of the globe.
Right, because you can't just waltz into a business meeting in, like, Italy with your American slang and expect everyone to understand, can you?
Not unless you want some confused looks. But
Yeah.
seriously, understanding cultural nuances is huge in this business. And then you've got supply chain management.
Which is all about.
Optimizing the flow of goods, from sourcing raw materials to getting those finished garments into the hands of eager customer.
Okay, so like logistics, inventory, making sure those cargo ships are running on schedule.
You've got it. It's about efficiency, strategy, and making sure every stage of that global supply chain is running like a well-oiled sewing machine.
Love that analogy. And hey, it's not just about those specific degrees, right?
Yeah.
I bet a lot of skills from other fields could translate well here.
Absolutely. The RoleCatcher guide even mentions that. Think about it. If you've got experience in, say, event planning, you've probably got mad skills in logistics, negotiation, and client communication, all super valuable in the import-export world.
Right. Like planning a wedding is basically a crash course in supply chain management, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got the education part down, but what about actually breaking into the industry? Because let's be real, experience is key, right?
100%. And there's no better way to gain experience than through, well, internships.
Okay, makes sense. But what kind of internships should you be looking for specifically?
RoleCatcher recommends looking for internships that give you a taste of the different aspects of the import-export process. Think logistics, customs clearance, maybe even working directly with suppliers.
So like a well-rounded experience, getting your hands dirty in different areas.
Exactly. It's about getting your foot in the door, building your network, and showing potential employers that you're serious about a career in textile import-export.
And speaking of networking, the guide also mentioned the importance of attending industry events.
Huge. It's like speed dating for your career. But seriously, it's the perfect opportunity to connect with industry professionals, learn about new trends, and maybe even stumble upon your dream job.
It's not always about what you know, it's about who you know, or at least who knows you and that you're out there hustling. Now, RoleCatcher also talks about certifications that can give you an edge.
They're like gold stars on your resume.
So, like, what kind of certifications are we talking about?
Well, for starters, there's the Certified International Trade Professional, CITP, designation. That one's globally recognized and shows employers you've got a deep understanding of international trade practices.
Okay, that's a mouthful. So, CITP, got it. What else?
Then there's the Certified Supply Chain Professional, CSCP certification. That one's more focused on optimizing those complex global supply chains we talked about earlier.
Right, so whether your passion lies in trade agreements or logistics, there's a certification out there to validate your expertise.
Exactly. It shows commitment and a willingness to go the extra mile, which can make all the difference in a competitive job market.
And speaking of climbing that career ladder, RoleCatcher's career stage outlines are super helpful in visualizing the potential trajectory of an import-export manager's career.
It's pretty cool to see how the responsibilities and scope of work evolve as you gain experience.
So you might start as an import-export coordinator, right?
Yeah.
Lots of hands-on work, learning the ropes.
Right. Then you could move up to an analyst role. More number crunching, analyzing those market trends, identifying new sourcing opportunities.
And then eventually you might find yourself leading the charge as a senior manager, overseeing global operations, making those high-level strategic decisions.
It's a journey, that's for sure. But for those with the passion, drive, and a bit of that global entrepreneurial spirit, it can be an incredibly rewarding one.
Absolutely. But you know what? All this talk about careers and certifications, I almost forgot about a key player here, RoleCatcher itself. It's not just a guide. It's like this whole platform designed to actually help you land that dream job in textile import-export.
It's like having almost like a digital career coach in your back pocket.
Right. And one of the coolest things I saw was this AI-powered CV analysis tool. Have you checked that out?
Yeah, it's pretty slick. You just upload your resume and RoleCatcher's AI kind of dissects it, you know, analyzes the language and compares it to actual job descriptions you're interested in.
So it's not just catching typos. It's like making sure your resume is speaking the right lingo for the jobs you want.
Exactly. And the best part is it'll even suggest ways to improve it, like maybe highlighting certain skills or experiences that align with what employers are looking for.
That's super helpful because sometimes it's hard to know what to emphasize, you know?
Totally. It takes out all the guesswork. And then on top of that, they have this whole interview practice feature.
Which I thought was like genius.
Right. It's like, especially if you get nervous in interviews, RoleCatcher throws like thousands of potential interview questions at you all tailored to different industries and job levels. See
Yes,
if
you
you
practice your answers, get comfortable talking about your experience.
exactly. And you even get like AI-driven feedback on your delivery and content.
Wow, so it's like having a mock interview with like a panel of experts, but from the comfort of your own home.
Exactly. They've really thought of everything to help you put your best foot forward.
It's amazing. RoleCatcher doesn't just tell you about the job, it like helps you prepare for every step of the process.
Yeah.
From, that first resume draft to that final interview.
It's all about giving you the tools and confidence to succeed.
Exactly. Okay, so as we wrap up our little deep dive here into the world of textile import-export, I want to go back to that image of the conductor, right? The strategist, the global connector, weaving together all these different threads of the industry.
It's a powerful image. And with everything we've talked about today, the skills, the education, and these incredible resources like RoleCatcher, you're well on your way to orchestrating your own success in this field.
For sure. But it's not just about following a set path, right?
Hmm.
The textile world is constantly changing. New trends, new technologies, new challenges. It's an exciting time to be involved.
Absolutely. So as you're, exploring this career path, ask yourself, what kind of impact do you want to make on the industry? What are you passionate about?
Such a good question. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about finding a job. It's about finding your place in this global network. It's about making your mark.
And who knows, maybe someday someone will be listening to a deep dive about your career, inspired by the path you're creating for yourself.
Now that's something to aspire to. To all our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has given you the knowledge and inspiration to navigate the exciting world of textile import-export. And hey, be sure to check out the show notes for links to everything we talked about, including RoleCatcher. Until next time.